So rajas is where the waves of the pond or the lake are moving so much that you can't really see all the way to the bottom of the pond, and it's too much restless energy, in the pond. That's rajas. And if your mind is like that, then so you want to cultivate sattva, because that's not your natural nature. Have you noticed if you just close your eyes even for a moment, things start settling down, right? One moment. Can you do that now? Just go back to your natural state. That is sattva. So the good thing is it's already your natural state. Yeah, beautiful. And tamas is when it's very cloudy and dirty and there is, old stuff in the pond and it's muddy. And so if you were to take a little dip in the rajas pond, who knows where you'll land up. You will dip your feet in Emeryville and we'll find you in Nicaragua. So the mind goes here and there. So it doesn't even have fixed beliefs, and it tries different things. It even changes teachers and beliefs and all of that. Tamas is, if you take a dip in it, you think you're going to get clean, you get dirtier. Did you feel that sometimes? You wanted to start your day out, but you got clouded with past failures and memories, and you just got heavied out, right? But even if that's your pattern, just a moment of, but that's not real. That's mithya. None of this is real. Sattva is my true nature, The moment, the way belief system, you said, what can you do? You assert, it's called assert the belief you want. So it's called auto-suggestion. Okay, it's called auto-suggestion. So I've taught this class before, but I will explain it again. Especially in relationships, you can do that. So the first cluster of thoughts that we have by default are tamas, and they are full of self-pity, guilt, shame, sorrow, and all those dark emotions. Do you go there sometimes, any of you? It's important to recognize it. And when you recognize it, Patanjali says, tag it. Something that's tagged, when you recognize it, it doesn't have power over you. So like, oh, tamas thoughts. Oh, dark. Oh, those same old tamas thoughts. Just say it. I see you've come back. Oh, that old memory. But you're back again. Literally talk back to it. Show it that you are the master. Because you are the master. So then what the mind does it, your mind is a very intelligent machine, Yasha. It's actually meant to make sankalpas, good beliefs, and make them come true. All the way to becoming Brahman, realizing your Brahmanhood. It's meant to be used in a very sophisticated way. But because there is no wisdom around how to use the mind, it just does its own thing. So imagine that you had a remote. I think I talked about it somewhere. And the remote needs you to use it. But if you don't use it, it turns on its own channels. That's the mind. And suddenly you're cooking a pie, then suddenly you are watching Playboy, then suddenly you are watching NFL, then suddenly you're watching stocks. That is how the mind is. Do you see that? But what you can do is you can start recognizing 4 channels. Done? First channel is of the shaming thoughts, dark thoughts, tamas thoughts. And you should say, this is a tamas thought. I want my mind to become pure sky. I don't want the clouds of tamas. Please get out. I'm done. Of course, it might be that you have experienced something and you be genuine to it, but if it's the same old, if it's an old pattern, you actually need to look at it. The one who's looking at it is not the thought. Would you agree? The observer cannot be the object of observation. There is a subject, there is an object. The next thought, another type of thought is rajas thought, in which we project the blame on somebody else. Or we get angry. But we don't feel angry because something got violated, and we're just angry on the president or the mother-in-law or the neighbor. It's ongoing. Do you see? So then your you've got stuck on the rajas thoughts. And you have to say that, these are the blaming thoughts. And as long as you're in shaming and blaming thoughts, you think your train is going anywhere? You are full and nice and stuck in the pool of Maya, aren't you? Just really stuck. The next set of thoughts, which I've introduced this new set of thoughts, it's called, Baba didn't teach it, but I'm teaching it now. It's called reality checking thoughts. So I introduced this new set of thoughts. So it's called, really? Am I really such a victim? Do people really hate me? Am I so pathetic? You question those thoughts. So I introduced this in my book, that, you have these thoughts and you have the reality checking thoughts where you question the reality. Yes, my neighbor is difficult. Yes, I've set the boundary. Now I'm not going to think about him till the next time I see him. This is a reality checking. Do you see my point? Okay. So when you start doing reality checking, instead of 200 thoughts, Yasha, our mind might have 20 valid thoughts. What a relief. Because those 20 valid thoughts may need attention. We are not trying to be thought empty. We just don't want all our imagined thoughts to be there. And repetitive thoughts. 20. 20 is workable. Now we can move towards Sankalpa Shakti. The moment you have 20, imagine the sky being full of clouds. Can you see the sky? Can you? No. You can only see clouds. And you can only see the lightning. You can imagine there is a sky, but you can't see the sky. But now when there's just a few scattered clouds, you can see lots of sky. And what is that sky? That sky is Satchitananda. It is truth, it is consciousness, and it's pure bliss. You start feeling your own power. Has anybody been there briefly even? Yeah, you start for no reason. Nothing changed in your life. That neighbor is still next to you. That president is still in his seat. The mother-in-law may still be, good or bad, I don't know. But situations have not changed, but just the container of your mind is a little quieter because you've done a little bit of weeding out of what is not real. And you're like being the master, saying, oh, come on. Is this, okay, you can play, this memory can play out, but it's not real. If you can just have this thought over a thought, after a while those memories stop coming. Why? Because you actually questioned them. If the movies didn't have a buzzer, we'll all go and watch the movies all the time. But because somebody will say, do you have a ticket? Do you not have a ticket? We can't just go and sit. So when you start asking those thoughts, do you have a ticket? Otherwise they'll watch your movie all the time. Do you have a ticket? Do you deserve to be here? Are you above 18? Ask your thoughts. What business do they have? Okay, suppose you have trauma from childhood. Some of those thoughts are playing. Probably it's then time to think, I have trauma and I need to address it with a psychologist or a therapist or a book or a program. Do you see? It's not okay to just live there forever. Because we are trying to move forward. And even with trauma, you can say, this is my trauma. This is my trauma. Am I making a new trauma add to the old trauma? So this is called reality check. This is in the present. This was in the past. This was in my ancient days. This was in my medieval days. This is in my modern days. And I didn't give myself, I can give myself some credit here. I did handle this healthy. So it's called housekeeping your mind. This is reality checking. Then you go into what is called, after you've done reality checking, it's called Dharma Thoughts, which I will teach you those 20 thoughts. So one of the Dharma thought is, can I be straightforward? So when I have nothing else, I say, okay, I'll just be straightforward. Straightforward means straight face also. Straightforward means no tone also, just straightforward. Excuse me, Jamie, this is what I noticed. This is not correct. This is what you need to do. If you cannot do it, let me know. Very straightforward. Now, or another Dharma thought is, okay, one of the Dharma thoughts is giving. Can you give? Can I sacrifice here? Is this so important to me? Do I have to have the last word? If I have the last word, what will happen? Am I living my last word? Am I saying my last word? So these are all Dharma thoughts. Yeah, my life changed after I stopped having the last word and living it. Okay, so only when you have become a sky can you have Dharma thoughts. Now, Yasha, what happens is you start having these values kind of guide you. And these values are not religious values, these are universal high consciousness values. So when you start doing that, so say you are upset with your dad, or some dad reason, something, a lot of dads, it happens. It happens with me and my dad too. Can I just be straightforward? Now it's a Dharma value. Hey dad, can you and I take a walk and talk? And another one is if you didn't have it and you were still stuck in number 1, you'd still be festering self-pity. Everybody has a great dad except me. That's one thought, which is such a ridiculous thought, right? Because everybody's dad needs a walk and a talk. So, I remember telling my father, you don't love me. Why? Because my friend Moshimi's father hand wrote a letter with multiple colors and sent them a letter, and you've never written me a letter. I was upset with my dad. It took me 2 days. I was not young also, good 19, 20. So I'm saying that we can stay there. Thank God I'm not there. So, because it really made me jealous to look at that letter, with multiple colored pens, and look at the attention the father had put in. And, and my father doesn't do those kind of things. So he still reminds me, if I ever tell him, Dad, I love you. Yeah, but I never wrote that letter for you. But the point is, if you were stuck, you could be stuck there. You could be stuck in, you could go in self-pity, be stuck there. You could be stuck in anger, and then the problem with anger is beyond a point it hurts you. I mean, him, yes, but you. Or you could be in reality checking and say, it's karma, you get what you get, and what do I have to see in this? What part of it is he showing me? Then you come to Dharma thoughts, and Dharma says, be straightforward, speak your truth. These are some Dharma values that you're about to learn. And be non-violent. So you're going to wait 2 more weeks before taking a walk because you're working on the non-violent part. I mean, I'm speaking from my own experience, not just yours, right? Because your passion will make your voice rise. And I wait until my anger becomes information, until it becomes my guidance. That is how in 10 years I've not shouted at anybody. It's not like I have to hold my throat and not shout at anybody. I've just gotten into a habit of fully experiencing my anger and then waiting because it's a friend, it's divine. Nobody need to be out of control with anger. Then once my non-violence, ahimsa dharma value is in, I know that I'm not going for a walk with Sanjay or my father or my dog or my son to injure them or to get injured, because the value protects you, right? It's not just one way. So I will, then straightforwardness, etc., etc. So you will talk, and your father may give a perfect answer, less perfect answer. But if you're really listening, because you have your values straight, probably you will be able to see the vulnerable part also, and the ignorant part also, and the denial part. You'll be able to see the whole, and at the end you might just see the human being. But you would have said your piece, you would have clarified your boundary. So now dharma helps us, because without dharma we don't know how to act. Once dharma is clear, is the dad issue, is that whatever upset you with your dad an issue? No, because it's been resolved. In fact, you've had some growth, inner growth as a result. Now what in your sky, are there 20 clouds? Probably now only 5 or 10. Now you're feeling so good, you're vibrating, you're closing your eyes and you're getting a high, you know. And then in that state, you start writing poetry, you write books. When your teacher says something like, you know, Tattvamasi, you are that amazing being, it makes sense to you. It's not just words. You don't have to be self-realized, but you are now already, you know, you're feeling less sorrow. I mean, you might have sorrow as in karmic sorrow, like somebody may die, or, you know, somebody may rear end your car, it's karmic, but you're not creating more sorrow because your thought hygiene is in place. When your thought hygiene is in its place, your mind itself becomes a wish-fulfilling mind. What does it wish-fulfilling means? Within the norms of physical laws, karmic laws, it's not that you can just wish for a castle or the Queen of England to come to visit to your home and she will come. But they say that if you keep wishing, and if you're very sincere and sattvic, if not in this lifetime, another lifetime, every wish comes true, but by the time you're so sattvic, you'll be very clear what you're wishing for. You know, and especially if you have God in all of this, you might, not because you're manipulating God, but it would be like, please help me prosper in whatever I'm doing so I can be your instrument of wealth and jobs for people and ease, you know. And my name is Yasha, so you can give me the fame you deserve, you think I deserve, you know. So what happens is, if you go through this process, your wishes are real, but they are magnificent. And your mind is like a radiant crystal, and the whole universe is all working with you. You're not just creating clouds and lightning and thunder and rain and just being sitting there with your head held high and, you know, calling everybody and telling you, you know, oh, I'm so problem, this problem, that. And there is a good chance that we're using your father's case here because you're all front benchers here. So, you know, we're using your dad here, but, you know, and your dad might upset you 5 times, 6 times, not the one walked in hell. But you might notice that the more you are doing your work, the more you are able to influence a change. Or say, you are able to influence no change. Somehow, this is the law, that as your consciousness changes, you become more immune. That's what happens. Either the person changes, or you develop some spiritual immunity. Somehow your train will keep going. And you would have impacted your father or whoever you were talking to in such a way that in this lifetime or the next one, they will benefit from you. And they will come back and give you the love that you gave them this lifetime. Nothing goes a waste. That's the thing. So say Aruna is being very kind and magnanimous to her parents, and her parents are being cranky because parents are old, and so they get cranky at that stage. Let's just say that. But she is very clear that it's dharma. So she's not going into shame and sorrow, nor anger. She's doing it from a dharma, and she is developing a belief around ease in relationships. They might remain cranky, but she might develop immunity. And on top of that, in some lifetime, suddenly 2 angels come out of nowhere to love her, to support her, to help her, because she did her part. See, dharma brings punyam, good luck. So do you like this? So this is how you proceed. Then when you are at that clear stage, at least when you're operating in dharma stage, your beliefs, you start manifesting. But I'm against that, you know, power of attraction, manifest anything, you know, be eating beef jerky, sit around in your pajamas, don't take a shower and sit there and, you know, manifest a Rolls Royce. I don't believe in all this. But by the time you've reached that journey, you would already be manifesting something dharmic. Like your whole instrument would be aligned with the universe.